guys.
A shit show, a pure shit show. It literally takes a village. Like,
I don't know if it was dirty or clean.
oh my god.
Bad mom.
Like
Gone
that
wild.
movie.
Yes, because I'm shining.
Woo! That was good, guys.
Today we're sharing tips and tricks on how to get started to declutter your home for the new year. So grab your drinks, pop in those earphones, especially if you have little ones around, and let's dive into episode 50.
Cheers. First, can we just acknowledge that we're in the studio? Like, it's been so long. It's been a year, I feel like. A whole year.
Yeah, pretty much. What, like 8 months, 9 months?
Yeah.
March is when
Yeah.
it first went down.
It's been a long time, so I'm so
So,
excited.
Season 3, here we are.
Yes.
Woo! Back in the cave.
And I feel like this is a good topic to start it off because everyone needs to declutter. We've had a rough 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what... You were going to say something about decluttering, like that everybody was decluttering and you've been hearing about that? Is that something that you want to...
Well, like normally, do you guys, like so how some people have like spring cleaning and stuff? Do you guys do that? Like I feel like, I don't know, for a while, no, you guys don't spring clean? You're lying. You guys do like a deep clean once in a while.
I want to.
Yeah, but not in the springtime.
I intend on spring cleaning because they say spring cleaning, but like sometimes it's winter cleaning.
Okay, yeah,
Like
that's what I
the
mean.
first of
Just
the
like
year
we're a
or-
time where you just like clean your house,
like deep clean, yeah.
And go through like old toys, old clothes that you can't fit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish it was more organized. I'm not organized about it. You would think that I would have a schedule for it, but I don't.
I feel like it's more season-wise, like with the kids growing out of their like clothes and toys, and then like for me, it's probably when like I need to put all my winter things away because it takes up my whole closet. So that's like when I clean our room.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's like one time a year for me at least.
Okay, but what about like cleaning like the dust from your fans and stuff like that, and like the vents?
That's
do you
what I'm
guys
saying,
do
like
all that?
Ultimate deep cleaning.
No, and you're like, don't feel bad because I have the thickest film of dust on
like,
my
we
fans
want the realness
right
like
now. And my mom's like, you need to clean that. I'm like, Mom, I never look up at it.
It's something you forget about.
it.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you need to make a habit of spring cleaning and winter cleaning and whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to. Can you
I feel like I
cover
do
me?
that when we're gonna turn on the AC. Like I'll clean that
The
air thing or like the heater, like so because when you turn on your heater for the first time, it smells like birds,
crazy,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's when I do those.
But do you guys get a lot of dust out here? Because you guys are in Orange County.
I do.
Yeah.
But I think it's because we're by the train tracks. That's my theory behind the dust in my house.
And then we have like the Santa Ana winds.
Oh,
so
that's
that
true.
does a lot of dust. So
Yeah.
I think.
And we keep our windows open. Like
Okay.
we're that type of family. The
So
windows
where
need to
we
be
live,
open.
I feel like there's so much dust too, and I dust every weekend, and it still builds up. Like
So then
every
you must
week, I have
be
to dust.
in a dusty area. But no, like, so you know how, what I was going to say about the cleaning. You say you don't. Your spring cleaning. But what about if you're doing like a move? Like if you had to move, then does that force you to declutter?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel whenever you're gonna do a move or something, that forces you to declutter because then you see how much shit you really have.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I really need all this shit?
You know when I like to clean is when I'm mad too.
Ooh, that's a good thing.
When
That's
it really
a
gets,
good
and you're like,
clean.
I'm never gonna fucking wear this again. Damn
That's
you,
that's a
husband.
good thing. But then do you regret it? Like I have thrown some stuff away and then I'm like later on I'm like, why did you do that? Like why did you get rid of that? But in that moment I felt like I needed to get rid of it.
Or
Yeah,
just
just
things?
stuff. Like
Oh.
there's clothing, like shoes, like just different stuff and I think back like I shouldn't have threw it away. But then I think I'm kind of a hoarder too, so don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
You should see her closet. It is
Don't listen
completely,
to
it's a
me.
walk-in closet and it's full of stuff.
And I have the shit in there from high school. Is that bad?
Oh my gosh.
Is that
What,
bad?
like your
Let
prom
me tell you,
dresses
I
and stuff,
share
or-
a regular closet with my husband.
So do I. Wait, is ours the same size? You've seen my closet.
I
Like, it's
share it
a
with my
wall
husband,
and
too.
it's a
yeah, but
slide.
yours is a walk-in. It doesn't
Share
count.
it with my husband.
My foot can't even go in my closet.
You're lying. Okay, ladies. So growing up, did you guys have a lot of clutter in your home?
Yes, but I think I've talked about this before. Like, my mom was like
she's-
a mild medium hoarder. Like, she does not
Same
like
thing.
throwing things away that are still functioning or
Yeah.
like are not broken. So we would have things all over. And then she had all her little statues and trinkets.
Yeah, you did
It was
say all
like,
those little statues.
yeah, it was a lot in our house. But I was little, so I didn't, it's not my house. I don't really care.
But when you would go to like your friends' houses, like if you saw that one
It
of
was
your
all
friends' houses
organized.
was like organized and super
Oh, yeah.
streamlined, would you compare and be like,
Hey,
"Oh,
mom.
I want this," or you felt more comfortable with
No,
like more
I
things?
would be like, oh, your house is so nice and fancy.
And then did it make you feel different about all the decor
Yours.
in yours, or
No,
Or
I
you
didn't
just-
think about it that way. I just
Okay.
thought like, this is such a bitch to clean for me. I never really like thought too deep into it.
But you know how too when you're younger, like you think that something was away, like you could have thought it was so cluttered, but then now as being an adult, you were like, oh no, she just liked what she liked.
Yeah,
and she had this.
there was
here,
a
this
theory
here.
for her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like we had an over amount of like furniture or anything like that. My mom, instead of collecting trinkets and stuff, she was into painting. So like
Okay.
every year she would repaint all of our bedrooms.
What?
Yeah, like I had like a
God.
purple room and a pink room and a gray room. Like she was obsessed with like painting things. But probably because we couldn't really afford new furniture every
that was
season
her-
or things
oh,
like that. So her thing was
nice.
like painting, kind of liven it
Change
up.
things
Yeah.
up.
That's a good idea.
So I never felt like it was cluttered, but I never felt like we had like, like you said, as a kid, you don't really think
You
it's
don't
just
think about
home
it,
is home. I do remember going to other people's houses and like some family would have more stylish things, and I'm like, oh, this is so nice. But I never really compared
Yeah.
Mhm.
it to ours because home was
Yeah, it was
comfortable
home,
for
yeah.
me until I think I got a little bit older, and maybe it's when you like get your own room or something, then you're like,
Your
oh,
own
I want
space.
to make it my own. And I remember walking into Victoria's Secret back in the early 2000s, and at the time they had a hot pink
Wall.
like wall
You
with
lost
gold painted hearts. Do you guys
Mhm,
remember that back
mhm.
then? And so I
Aren't they
came
bags like that
home
too?
and wanted a hot pink wall. So I painted my whole room hot pink
Oh
and
my
hand painted golden hearts all around.
See, Janelle, you been had it. Look at you.
I got it
doing
from
stuff.
my mom.
Oh my God.
That's where you get it from.
Uh-huh. That's
But I think I've always leaned more towards like having less in a space, because I hate cleaning, so I feel like the more shit that I have in my room, the more I
Yeah.
have to clean. So
Yeah,
I've kind of
absolutely.
like streamlined. What about you?
Absolutely. For me, growing up, I wouldn't say it was necessarily cluttered, because like I always expressed, growing up we didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't have a lot of stuff because we couldn't have a lot of stuff. I feel like it was the bare minimum. So I didn't see a lot of clutter, but it always felt like a little empty to me. And I feel like maybe this is why like my house is like, I always have to make sure like it's full of stuff, because growing up, like I would always feel like the house felt like
Bare.
like empty. Yeah, like it was
Okay.
just the bare minimum. And I'm like already little like, oh, they should put a light right there or a lamp. Like I always felt like that. So I would say that's probably where some of my
Maybe your
Yeah.
mom was a minimalist.
Yeah.
You know, and she
Maybe.
liked it streamlined and
maybe.
uncluttered.
But no, because even now I feel like she would still be the same way, and she's not. Like,
Like, is her
Okay.
house like that now?
no, it is not. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. Like, so
okay.
I think it was just like literally we just couldn't afford to have all those
More
extra
things.
pieces in the house. Because now, I mean, her house is like, she has everything in there. So, it couldn't be that. But it it never bothered me. I just felt like, okay, this is what it is. Like, it still felt like home. I just knew that we couldn't afford like things like that. So when I would go to a friend's house and I would see, I remember this little girl I used to play with, her house was like, I was like, oh my God. And everything was like organized. And I was just like, this is nice. This is nice. So
did it make you feel like, I want that? Or you just...
No, I just thought it was nice. And I just thought, I was like, wow, this little girl is very blessed. Like, at an early age.
Yeah.
I hope she knows that she was very blessed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's cool. These chairs are noisy.
I know.
It's like...
That's Janelle.
It was a chair.
Does liking a lot of decor mean you like clutter?
No, I think everyone has like their own style and their own taste. Like you said, some people are minimalist and don't care to have a lot of things up, and some people like to have a lot of things because then maybe they grew up with nothing and want to have, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I just think everyone's definition of clutter is
It's
different.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it just depends on the person. Like for me, depends what it is that is there. Like if you have things piling up on top of each other, then that to me that's clutter. But if it's like part
Place,
of your
Decor.
decoration, then no, I don't know, because my mom had hers like placed, and to me that's clutter. But
To her,
I don't know.
it's
Yeah,
like
to her
decor.
I knew that was like she had a reason for that.
So what's your personal style? Like for your house, do you like every wall to have something on it, or do you kind of...
Mine is more about functionality for like me and my kids, because my kids are so small and like they can knock things over. So it like to me
It
like
fits
something would look
That's
nice
true.
there, but I know I can't because the kids will knock it over. So if you look at my house right now, like things that are low can have things that I would like, but there's nothing there because the kids will break it, or for me it's functioning
That's nice.
with the kids.
That's so true.
Because I hear that about like me, because like for instance with like Christmas decorations and things, people are like, the kids don't touch that, and I'm like, no, very early I'll let them know. Like I've never changed the house around the kids.
That's
I went
awesome.
around and put like, of course, the plugs in, like safety stuff, but as far as like my decor, like if a lamp went there and it was supposed to be there, they knew early on like not to touch this stuff. In the same way the Christmas decoration, because they very young, they weren't going, like I have friends who are like, oh, I can't put the ornaments down because my kids will take them off and they'll be all over the place. And I'm like, no, they don't.
So, with that being said, do you, like when they're toddlers and stuff, do you leave them unsupervised in a room, or are you pretty strict about like, okay, being in the same room as them? Because I feel like if you leave any toddler, even if you tell them, no, don't touch it, if you leave any toddler in the room, they're gonna get it, you know? So do you kind of make sure to like watch them so that you can catch them, so that you can kind of drill it in, like,
It depends on the room sometimes, but you're right. Like, have you seen that challenge where they put the fruit snacks in front of the kids and they say don't touch it? Some touched it, some didn't. So I think it just depends on the room and the child. Because there are different personalities.
Dude, so we were like Marianne, like everything was for functionality, and I think because before we bought our house, we were living in different. I feel like we were living with family, and then we were living in my mother-in-law's condo. So we were kind of on our hand-me-downs and stuff. We never really bought. I remember when we first bought our first sofa, it was like, oh my gosh. But it was still for functionality.
Yeah.
It was like, my mother-in-law had the prettiest, like, French type of style where everything was crisp and white at one point in her house. And oh my gosh, she had a white sofa and just like all of this luxury. It was so clean, and I was like, oh my god, my kids are just gonna. And at the time I only had one, but I just pictured myself dirtying it with my shoes or something, you know.
Yeah.
So we bought like everything that we bought, we made sure that it wasn't going to show dirt easily and stuff.
Yeah,
so
you have to keep that in mind.
but I've made a mistake, like, as I gotten older, I was like, I want that rug. Like, I don't care. I want that white, fluffy rug when it was in, you know? So I got it, and my husband was so against it, but I got it, and it lasted only 6 months.
Did it?
And I trained my kids. No shoes in the house. Like, everybody was trained, but it was when we always had visitors.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate telling people. I
Yeah,
can't get
yeah.
it. You know, I can't get used to telling people, like, take off your shoes.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, are you sure? You know, or and I'm like, oh, okay, don't take it off.
Yeah,
then.
it is
You know,
pressure with the no shoes.
Or even if you tell them to take it off and then they don't take it off, and you're like, motherfucker, I fucking told you. And so what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna follow
Pull
them
them
out
out,
and say,
right?
take off your shoes.
You need to have a sign at your door.
So I did. I mean,
have one,
I
and it's
even
still
got a
good
mat.
rug.
I got a mat that says "Lose your shoes."
You do.
And still, but now
That's
I'm not
so
so.
funny.
I just have accepted it, and I got a colored rug now, so that I can just have whoever over and not freaking panic
About the rug.
because it was giving me anxiety.
Or
So.
when a rug gives you anxiety, yeah, it's time to go. Declutter. Back to our declutter.
But I like more like streamlined, even though I want it to be functional, but I still want it to look nice now. I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I want it to feel like, I don't want to wait anymore. Forever I was waiting.
Yep.
And so now, like, I'll save for pieces that I actually want for a long term. And even if I have to save forever for that stupid dining room table.
Is that a hit? Are you saving?
But I'm not gonna settle for buying something that I don't want long term. So and sometimes you'll see, like, my house looks all pieced together and like random, but it's because I'm waiting. Like, I have old shit mixed with new shit, but it's because, like, I refuse to buy something if I'm not gonna, if it doesn't fix
together.
it.
Like,
yours is nice.
So cute in there. I love it.
Own it.
Okay, so
why did you choose to declutter? Well, who chose to declutter? I'm decluttering.
I was like, what am I
am
decluttering?
decluttering. So, it's something that I try to do. Like, I'm weird like that. Like, I'll do the spring cleaning or these cleaning. And usually around New Year's, because I am taking down the Christmas stuff, I declutter everything. Like, I go through each room, and I'll spend. So it depends. Like, sometimes it could be 2 days, but it's anywhere from a day to 5 days that I spend in that area, and I'll literally go through absolutely everything. Start at the kitchen, go through the pantry, all of the Tupperware that over the time you're just trying to match it, like literally everything. Forks and spoons. Do I have too many? Did it not match the set? Like, literally declutter everything. And then the stuff I have, I'll do a donate box, I'll do like a friends and family box, and then like a trash, and then I separate all of it, and then away I go with each thing. But it takes it'll take 8 weeks.
What?
It's a timeline, yeah. And also
2
like
months?
I found
So is it a week per room or like
So-
location of your house, or?
So it's so also, like, normally I was doing this kind of on my own kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then I ran across these ladies, Jacqueline and Carrie, and they have an ultimate declutter guide. And I fell in love with it because I was already doing something close to this, but I was just like jotting it down in the journal, like doing it like that way. But this, they literally, they break it down into all sections. Like, they have, like, how you manage setbacks to, let's see, because managing setbacks is true. Like, you set a time, and then kids, husband, things get involved.
Oh, okay.
And
I was like, what does that even mean, managing
that's
setbacks?
what it means.
But
Like,
so, like, how do
distractions.
you fit it into your daily life? Okay.
Exactly. And then it has a section where you get the family involved. So I get the boys involved. They have to clean out their toys. They have to go through their own drawers and say, okay, I can fit this shirt. I can't fit this shirt. Okay, we can give it to little brother. Or no, he can't fit it. Like, I get them involved. So it was like, this book was like perfect because I'm like, oh my God, this is almost exactly how I do it. It just gives more tips and little things to do. So it has all the section: kitchen, living room, every like room in your
And
house.
we will
bathroom.
link it in the show
Yes,
notes.
we will link it. From your towels to
Towels.
yes, because a lot of times you don't like like if you have, I feel like we have like family and company over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So after like guests come to your house and they use the towels and you wash them, after like a long time they start to wear and tear.
Mm-hmm.
And when my guests come over, I don't want to give them like a
dingy
shabby towel, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta clean those out if they, and we could we change them usually into like cleaning rags,
Yeah.
or we'll put them for the cars. So we usually
So
save
what's the
them.
rule of thumb for the towels? Like how long can you hang on to them?
Well, for me, I don't do like a rule of thumb. I just, when it starts to look like if someone
Faded.
came and handed me that towel at their house, and I was like, no.
That's
like,
a good point.
Like, would I want them to have a, especially my guests.
car?
I want my guests to have a nice towel to dry off with.
Yeah.
And then
have
with
hair dye on it and shit
yeah,
like that.
like, you know, like old towels and stuff.
We
So
have
like,
those.
and for us too, like we watch the towels too, but I feel like we'll keep ours because we kind of have like, everyone kind of has their signature towel, and we just wash it and we have another one. But for us, I would say I don't really probably pay attention to us that much as I do for guests.
Okay.
Like, there's
Yeah.
for sure.
So how do you mentally, Roni, prepare for a declutter?
And how do you remember to do it? Like, do you have it in your calendar, or you already know every year it's after New Year?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Oh, you
going
do it
into
the
new
same
year.
time.
It's going to, and then I know a lot of people, like I have friends who they do the same thing, like down to, I have a friend who just recently changed her phone number. Like that's how much she's like declutters everything. Yeah.
Wait, but every year she changes her phone number? Because I don't know if I could do
No,
that.
no. But this year, like she is more like mentally focused because I guess with everything going on, so she's like did an ultimate declutter. She said hers took her. I'm very impressed because her decluttering only took her like 3 weeks, and
She probably, does she have kids?
yeah. She has
Does she
kids.
work?
But with quarantine, I don't know, you know, her exact schedule.
their
But and then
schedule's
everyone's house,
different,
she may not have had a lot of things to declutter. But I think I just kind of, since I know that it happens every year, I try to do it. I already start mentally preparing myself. Like maybe, I feel like at 6 months. I'm like, okay, I know, like start just literally taking little things out or setting them aside. Like, okay, I'm going to give this to my little cousin. I already start mentally preparing myself to like notch it down. And then I tell my family too, I'm like, don't add on any extra like activities for me this time. I really need to focus
So
on
you
the
just
decluttering.
clear that time.
Yeah. So I clear that time. I get them involved. But like as far as like, and I think this will be easy too because it's still like we're going through the end of 2020, but I feel like it helps because we're kind of still at home,
Yeah.
so I don't have to say like, okay, don't plan this because we're still kind of laying low. But
Yeah.
I think that's how I mentally prepare myself.
So there was a lady who I was following. She also has a podcast. I think it's called The Purpose Show, and her name is Allie Casazza. And she has a decluttering challenge so when I was going through like a little depression after my dad died, I needed something to do at home to feel functional. I don't know what I was going through, but I came across like decluttering, and I'm like, okay, I just got to declutter my house. It made me feel better to have like some type of goal. Yeah. And so I came across her, and she has a program called Declutter Like a Mother. And it's super cute because she has a challenge too. And she gives you like I think it's a free guideline, and she takes you through the bathroom and the kitchen and everything, and down to the number of, like you said, the number of towels that you need for however many people are in your family. And then if you're going to have a couple guests stay over, you know, and the dishes, like she broke it down to like how many dishes. So so, and I had so many dishware and we never even, like when we're the type of people, like when we have a party, we always use paper plates. We're not very fancy, you know, like we have potlucks and paper plates. So we never use like fine dining, you know, things like that. So we kind of streamlined a lot, which made extra room in our drawers, which made extra room in our cabinets. And it just totally feels like refreshing and free to just streamline things so you don't have extra to worry about. And then you have room to take the stuff off your counters. So back then we had like our toaster on our counter and our blender and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah, clear.
And then now you can
amazing.
like clear the counter, and even little things like that, like cleared counters, can
makes
make
you
you feel like, feel like you're in one of those magazine homes, even if it doesn't look like a magazine home. You feel like you could just see everything, and you could cook if you wanted to cook. There's extra space. Yeah, it does. I like it.
It gives you that feeling.
I feel like I'm the type that just, spur of the moment kind of cleaning. Okay. Like if I'm trying to put food away and I can't find the lid to a container, or like there's just a shitload of containers, like I'll do what I need to do and then I'll start cleaning out all the containers. But like there's other things where I'll mentally prepare myself. Like when the kids reach a new age, I'm like, okay, I know they need a new size, so within the next week or so I gotta change out their clothes.
And you do good at that because you saved all land and stuff for Levi, and then you had it all like perfectly aligned to the size.
I'm lucky that one of my cousins has a boy that's a couple years older than Landon, so she's given me all of her clothes, his clothes for Landon, and then like I've kept all of whatever Landon has and labeled them so that now when Levi's that age, I just swap them out. Nice. Like all the clothes he's using, I'll put into that container, and I don't know why. I don't think we're having more or plan to anytime soon, but I'm still keeping like Levi stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give them to my brother. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. But that's how I do. I kind of mentally don't prepare myself.
And I kind of feel like when their birthdays are going to come, that's when I kind of try to take some of their clothes that they don't wear a lot, and I like package them up, or I'll put them in a basket in the closet, just so that I know, okay, I'm gonna give these away to Goodwill, because I don't usually go that often, but this way I can grab all of the stuff from all the rooms. But we have small rooms in our houses, and we have small closets, so we can't keep an abundance of like clothes and shoes and stuff. So I have to try to work them out often, because then I have no room in the closets, so that's how
What room do you guys tackle first, though? Like when you're about to start your declutter, is there a room you guys usually go to first?
You have your routine and your structure, so every year, which room do you go?
I always start with the kitchen first.
The kitchen?
The kitchen. Always. I don't know why. I think because, I feel like this episode's making me feel like I'm such a hoarder.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like, I have like a lot of like spices and seasonings, because I like to cook and add different flavors. So I have like a whole bunch, and I have to go through those. I have to go through like every little thing, and it takes so much time. So I always start with the kitchen, and the last thing is always my closet. It's always the last thing.
Is that because it's the most hoard that you
I feel like it's like the biggest job for me, because it's just like getting I don't know, like sentimental value pieces and stuff like that. So I feel like it's the biggest project, and it takes the longest, but I also do it last because my mindset is a little different from when I started. So I feel like since I decluttered, I feel like I'm more like, okay, I'm starting to see it come together. So I already have like a swing now of like, okay, I don't need this. Where in the kitchen when I'm starting, I'm kind of like, okay, well, what if you host a party? Then you're going to want this. But by the time I get to my room, I'm like, girl, you're not wearing that no more. Stop playing. Put it over here. You're not, so.
And when she hosts parties, she has fine dining. And she has place cards for each person. So she's not a paper plate kind of person.
I like to host. I really do love to host.
So that's good. Wait, I have a question though, and this is, I guess, more for cleaning, but she collects all those Ray Dunn.
I'm a Dunny, guys. Anybody else out there?
Dishware. And do you have to dust those? Speaking of dust, you have like a whole pantry full. Do you have to go in there and dust it?
Dust in there, yeah.
Oh my god, I can't.
I
can't collect anything.
Yeah.
I was like, if you have older kids, then
I do it. But I don't do it often, because I have a set, like some of those cups are like, they don't get used because they're like a signature piece. Yeah. So sometimes I'll go, like if I get something from there, then I'll kind of just like wash it at the time too.
Okay,
so I don't go in there as much and dust it. Like I mean, I probably should, but if I'm being honest, I have dusted in there. It's not like
I want to see your pantry now.
We're with a white glove.
I'll film it.
You mentioned something about tackling the kitchen first, and that lady Allie Casazza had said that when you start in the kitchen or like the bathroom, there's less sentimental things in those
she
rooms.
said that. Wow.
Yes, so she actually advises to start in those rooms because it's easier to like. If you and the way that she does it is she empties everything out. So like in your kitchen you put all your shit on the counter, and in your bathroom you put everything, obviously one room at a time. You don't want to do both at the same time, but say the kitchen, we're going to put everything on the counter, everything, okay? And then you only put the things back that you want to keep. And then once you put everything organized that you want to keep, you'll have still a mess on your counter, and then that's when you organize it for donations, giving, or selling. She's very big on like the selling things too, but I just can't. I don't even know how to sell. Like I'm old school. Do we have a yard sale? I don't know how to sell on Craigslist or any of those things. So when people are like, "Oh, I just sold it," I'm like, how?
On Poshmark. I sell stuff on Poshmark. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot, right?
It is,
okay.
Yeah. It is.
You can do like that, what is it, like offer up or...
But then the people...
But I just feel like how often are they looking for a toaster? Or, you know what I mean? Like how, like if I want to sell my toaster, how often is somebody typing out an offer up? Oh,
you never know. Like,
really?
Like college students. Some stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. College students, yeah. For kids' artwork. There's another one, Jordan Page. She does...
Oh, yeah. She has the one with, like, 7 kids?
Yes. Well, now she has 8 kids.
Now she has 8, yeah.
And she's on YouTube. I love her. And she does, like, for the kids' artwork, she'll take a picture of the kid with the artwork, and then she gets rid of the artwork. That's kind of hard for me, too, but she, like, that's how she remembers what kid did it at what age, and that was their piece of art, you know? But I'm like... I'm super sentimental about artwork too, and if it's good, like if I feel like if it's good, then I'll save it. If it's just them scribbling, I'll save one of the scribble during that year that they did, you know, because like Ray right now, she's only 3, so she'll just scribble all over.
Yeah.
So I've saved one of those, but other than that, all of the rest of them go in the trash.
You know what? I never thought about kids' artwork being so sentimental until... I think Landon was probably 2, but it was your brother-in-law's wedding. And their dad wore his... Didn't he have, like, something pinned up his head or something like that?
So my father-in-law at my brother-in-law's wedding, he wore... he pinned on a little hand that my brother-in-law made him when he was, I think he was
so
4.
Small, yeah.
And so he wore it on his...
and like a handprint on his...
And like he cut it out.
It was a paper handprint.
Yeah,
and
I thought that was so cool.
Dude, I forgot about that.
And that's why I've
sentimental.
heard that thing where like you just take a picture of it, and I'm like, but like, you know, he did that at his wedding, and how cool was that? And like, you can't just put the picture.
Yeah.
So I thought I had a different perspective about artwork when I saw that.
We saw my mother-in-law. She had a note that my husband wrote to his dad on Father's Day, and he let us read it, and I was like, oh my God, it was crazy to see like the stuff that he wrote in there, how young, but I'm like, oh my God, they still have it, and it was like all neatly
like
intact
taken care of,
and everything.
So I have a box, and I make sure to put the kid's name and then how old they were and the year that they made it, and on the back, and then I just put it all in the box, so they're all mixed in the box. But like I said, it's only if it hits a heartstring when I see it. You know, like that initial, like, oh my God, that was so good. If it's from school and the teachers, like in preschool, the teachers pre-cut everything and they just glue it together, I'm like, okay, but that didn't really come from your creativity. That didn't really come from your heart, you know? So I'm like, that's cool, but I just kind of put it aside. But if it's like their handprint or something that they painted themselves or created, that I'm like, this is you. And so I'll save that kind of stuff. Or like little journal entries that they make at school. If it's funny or something that you're like, oh my God, you're so random, then I'll save those, because it made me feel a certain, like it has to make me feel some type of way, you know? I
met a mom who, she made her little kids' books, like, I was like, oh, you are putting all mommies to shame ever. She had but her kids were now in college, but she had their ID cards from each grade.
What?
Each grade. All of the ID cards. She had, like, I mean, it was just the best book I've ever seen, and I was like, oh my god, like she down to each child's. I think I still have the kids' baby bracelets, but she had like everything, a little piece of the hair for the first haircut. Like it was so organized and everything in there, but the book was a good size. And I'm like, wow, you really got all the key things with making this like an awesome book for their future husbands and wives to see. So I was just like, wow.
So there's a mom that I know that she saved all of her kids' jerseys from all the teams that he was on, from preschool to like that age to in college, because he played baseball in college. And I don't know if she did this. Well, no, she saved it. So
she intended on doing it.
But and then she made a quilt of all of them.
Cute,
and so because she told me that, and my baby was, or my first one was only like
You've
3.
been saving her?
I've been saving, so I have a box for all Jack's stuff.
Nice.
And a box for all Ray's. I mean, Max's. And I'm like, okay, because some of the things are like just t-shirts or like not really jerseys. So I'm like, do I save it? Do I not? But I just have it all there because I want to make like a little. But she didn't make the quilt herself. She ordered it. So I guess there's like a woman that you can like on Etsy and things like that. But I thought that's so cool.
That's a good wedding day.
I'm a sucker for all those
That's a good wedding day
things.
gift.
My brother did that with my mom's scrubs because she had like we had to clean out her house, and she had a whole closet of scrubs because that's what she would wear to work. And we're like, what do we do with all these? And none of my aunts that are in the nursing field wanted them because they're like, that's weird. Like we would see her in those, and I'm like, so my brother made a quilt with all of them.
No.
And he had someone make it. So I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
So who gets the quilt?
He got 2 made, so one for him, one for me.
I love it.
Because it's like, a big piece, and all you need is a square.
Was that your Christmas gift?
No, we just were like, what are we going to do with these
That's
instead
nice.
of throwing them out? Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
That makes me think of my dad's clothes. I wonder if we can do that. That's cool.
You just send it off and get it. Or like their wedding gown, like we didn't know what to do with it. And there's like, you can have it sent to this, I don't know what it's called, I'll have to look. And they make like a little, like, like when babies pass, like their little gowns, like a...
like you recycle it kind of thing?
Yeah,
and they
like
make
instead of
gowns
throwing away my mom's wedding
Really?
dress, they'll remake it into a gown for like a little baby that needs to pass away or something like that.
Oh my
you know
God.
what I mean?
Wow.
There's a lot of
There's
things.
also, my sister-in-law had her wedding gown boxed.
Yeah.
It looks like a Barbie doll. Like they prop it up into like this plastic stuff, and like they put it in a box. So it's like in her closet, and it looks so cool on display. I'm like, you're never gonna wear it again. Her wedding gown was so beautiful. It was like a mermaid, so it was real tight
Her
and fitting,
daughter
and then
can
like
wear it.
fluffy on the bottom. And I just wanted her to. I feel like I would just want to wear it, like.
Or I know some people get like pieces of their parents' wedding dress in stitched
In
into their
theirs,
wedding.
yeah.
Mhm.
I've heard of that. So
Yeah, I
how
like
long does decluttering take you guys? Romy, you said 2
like
months.
I mentioned 8 weeks. Well, this
So,
is like
but like
an 8-week
break it down like a
challenge.
day thing, like.
From anywhere from, it depends on how much of decluttering a room needs, but it can take anywhere from 1 day to up until 5 days.
I should say how many hours. So
You
like,
start
do you
as soon
like
as you
when?
wake
Do you,
up?
yeah, like when do you fit it in? Like as soon as you wake up, or get the kids fed, or like when they're napping. When do you
I
try
like to do everything that I have to do earlier in the day and get it out the way, like schedule time for the day. Get that out the way, and then I feel like I have the rest of the day.
in the day? Get it out the way.
And then I have the rest of the
Then
day.
I got the rest of the day. So I love it.
Yeah, so probably set aside each day like 4 or so
So
hours.
during that time that I did that challenge, I was like on a roll too. My last thing that I did was the attic, and that took me forever because
Really?
to get to. Like I just couldn't mentally get myself
Yeah.
there. Like once you do the whole house, then you're like, I don't even want to
That's
go in the
enough. I've
garage.
done
Yeah.
enough.
But the
I feel
garage,
comfortable.
I feel like I should have started in the garage and the attic because that was the easiest. Like when
Really?
you look at something, you're like, when's the last time I actually used this, or when would I ever use this? Like we save everything. Like even though I like my house super clean and like not like free of clutter and free of like a lot of decorations, I'm a sucker for sentimental shit. So I'm like, my daughter bought this for me, and I could hate the thing, but it's
the fact
because
that
my
she
Nana,
bought it,
when it was the last thing that she bought me, then I'm like, I want to save it forever. And so I'm a hoarder when it comes to that, but I don't put it on display. I hide it in my closets, and I have like a bunch of shit in my attic and stuff. So that's what's hard for me to get rid of, like the stuff in the attic and things like that. But like clothing too, like fluctuating from your sizes with your kids. Like, okay, one day I'm gonna lose the weight, or one day I'm gonna gain the weight, or whatever it is, I'm gonna fill these jeans out, like if you can't wear it now, but that's hard because sometimes you're like, especially at the beginning of the year, you want to like, you have goals, like, hey,
back in these.
So what?
I feel like I've done that way too many times that I've learned that it's just not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, or it's like,
or just buying
it's outdated.
Yeah.
By that time, it's outdated, or it's like reward yourself with a new wardrobe then, and that'll kind of keep you on track.
Well, one of the things I always most definitely get rid of each time I clean is like any maternity clothes. Like I get rid of them instantly. I never keep them like for, even if I'm planning for another child.
Really?
I always get rid of them all the time, and I'm like,
but they're so
if
expensive.
it happens, I'm like, if it happens, I'll just buy it again, because I feel like, I mean, it takes up, you only wear it when you're pregnant. If you go through, like, you go 4 or 5 years and you haven't been pregnant, it's taking up space in there. So I'm like, I'm getting rid of this pregnancy shit, and I'll buy it again if it happens.
I never bought maternity clothes because I used my spandex. And or I would use that rubber band, the rubber band method, where you would like kind of loop your rubber band through your little button.
Didn't have to buy any, because my fat ass, I had to buy some.
That's what spandex were for, So I would wear like the spandex when I would get so big that I couldn't rubber band it anymore, and it would leave an impression in my skin. I would get one of those like those tube top band. But I would get it from the fashion stores, because they were like $5 from the fashion stores. They're like $50 from the Belly Band brand. And I would just like put it in my waistband to keep my pants up. But for the most part, when I was really big, I would just do the spandex and then just an oversized shirt, oversized shirt, or even like the tighter shirts. But
she was
once
one of
you
those
get
cute
a maternity jeans,
guys,
it's like so comfy.
I never tried them.
Oh my god, they're so comfy, especially when you're huge.
They're so expensive too, and I'm a cheap ass, so I'm like, I'll save forever for like a good piece of furniture, but like when it comes to clothes, I am such a cheap ass. Like I will not pay $50 for a pair of jeans. Like that makes my heart ache when they're like, oh, it's $50 for these,
and that's half off.
Half off.
And I'm not throwing shade for anybody who invests in clothing. Everybody has their thing, so okay. So then, let's see. Wait. I feel like we talked about how we break it down, like the room and the kitchen.
Yeah, we did.
Stuff. And like bathroom. So when you're decluttering, do you also get little trinkets to organize the rooms too? Like little cubbies and stuff at the same time?
Organizing. I feel like that's my time to organize. So I'll get like containers, but a lot of them carry over. Like I have containers for like the Christmas stuff, and I have containers for, old movies and stuff like this. But this, I feel like I'm setting different goals this year because I want to get a lot more organized. So this time I bought like extra containers, and I want like everything that I'm not using to have its own specific container. That's why I think it's going to take me a little longer.
Where do you get your containers, the big containers for like the movies and stuff like that?
For like wherever they're like Walmart.
Where are they the
Walmart
cheapest at
Walmart has Walmart. Okay. Sometimes you can catch Home Depot. They'll have like a sale, and they have some good size ones.
But Walmart.
If it's your thing, the Container Store, but
that's
I mean
that's
that's
not
super
my
expensive.
But they've got some
it may be
cool
some
things.
Some people may I know like. You know who's my ideal
container.
I know. I can't get with it.
In the trash bag.
I can't get with it. But and they look the same too. Like it's not like they look any, special from the ones that Oh, Big Lots too. They have
Big
this.
Lots.
As much as I say it's just a container, I would love because
The matching
the
ones.
matching like all of them to be black or all of them to be white, and then get labels
That's
for
how I
them.
want. That's
like
what
that's
I want.
my
That's
heart
my
would
dream.
just like.
Let me
I'd
tell you
probably-
who my dream organization person is. I don't know if you guys seen her house or her closet and stuff, but Khloe Kardashian.
Oh yes.
Oh, my
She
God.
has somebody doing it for
I know
her.
No,
she does,
but she
does,
is
but she
super
her
neat too.
her oh my God,
She does
it's
a lot
beautiful.
herself, like her
It's beautiful.
pantry.
Yeah, she does it a lot herself too. She
Really?
says
I saw
she
her
likes it.
organizing her Oreos. Like in that
Yeah,
little
Yeah.
she
thing.
is
I don't
OCD
have
like
time
that.
for
I know.
That's
'cause
my
she's
dream
friend, guys.
organization. That's what
She's
that's what
super
that's my dream. I want it to look like that. Oh, I want it to look like that so bad.
Okay. Oh, the dollar store also has really good.
Yeah, they have shoe
like
containers.
to
Yeah.
put
really?
stuff
Yep,
in.
I get
for a
some. I get my
dollar.
shoe containers from there. All
Yeah.
of my shoe containers.
Okay, so you said you get your kids involved. How do you get them involved? Like, what if they're sentimentally tied to something? Will you keep it, even though you know? Like, for example, my kids, they don't want to get rid of any of their toys, but yet they don't play with any of the freaking toys. And so part of me wants to wait until they're at school or like they're not at home, so I can actually, because I feel like they would not even remember if I got rid of most of the stuff in their closet. What do you do? Do you include them in it?
So I let them go through their stuff. I let them go through their shirts. Of course, I have to go back and check.
Oh, yeah, because what if
yeah.
they get lazy and
Yeah,
they're
no,
like,
it
oh,
happens
I
all
went
the
through
time.
it, but they fucking didn't go through it. That drives me crazy.
It happens all the time, and I let them do it first, and then I tell them how to set up the sections, and then once they're done, they'll come get me, and then I kind of go over it and see like if it's something like, no, you can still fit this, we're gonna keep this, or no, get rid of this, it's messed up. You know, I kind of skim through the pieces and see. As far as for toys, I kind of make the indecision because I feel like some shit they're saving, like they'll save a piece of something where the other toy is like no longer gone there because. And I throw away a lot of stuff throughout the year. Like I have this rule, like if you don't put it back and I find it and I'm cleaning, I will throw it away. Like, so if it's another piece that it goes to something, you better put it back.
That's why they have missing pieces.
Because I throw it away. So that's why when we clean, if that doesn't have a piece, that other part goes in the trash with it. Because I keep telling them to put the stuff back. So I get so annoyed when I see like, I'm cleaning and this is over here. And I asked you already like, several times to put it up, I'm just throwing it away. Little pieces of Legos, if I step on it, it's gone.
And okay,
If I
so
step on it,
at
it's
what
in the
age
trash.
do you start that? Because your kids are older, so like they know better now.
Yeah.
But
Harley's
they
still
weren't
getting
5
away.
when you were throwing
Harley's
away their
still
shit,
getting
right?
away with leaving her stuff around. I haven't started her yet.
So what's a
she's
good
still-
age to like
like
implement that
by
rule?
7, I'm feeling
okay.
like you know better than this. Why are you leaving this right here?
Okay.
So yeah, but
Because I don't want Marianne to go home and be like, Len, I'm
do
throwing
that.
away your shit.
Every night, I'm a stickler for like every night before bed, you need to walk around the entire house and pick up all your toys. Whatever's out is going in my plastic bag, and I either depending on how bad he was that day, I threaten that it's gonna go in the trash, or it goes in, like, we have a pile for like things that get taken away. He has to buy them back on Friday.
oh, you did say that.
yeah.
So every night I make him do that. And there's times where I've thrown things away just to prove my point. Because sometimes he's like, oh, I could just buy it back on Friday. I'm like, no. You take this back and you throw it outside. I make him throw it in the big trash can, not like in a kitchen trash can.
Yeah.
I make his ass go outside the house and
You're like,
throw
I'm
it.
not going in that dumpster, so.
He knows, like, once it's in that trash can, it's gone forever.
And does he
And
have
he's
like
5.
a meltdown, or does he like,
Yes.
does it register?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, when it goes in the trash, he's like, fuck. Then that whole week, he's like, nothing's staying out. And if he sees me walking around, he's like, no, I haven't cleaned yet.
Oh, how cute. For the kids with getting rid of their toys, like, it's a pain in the ass to get them to actually sit there. Like, I feel like I have to be in the room with them and like, do you want this? Do you not want this? And then they'll actually like do it with me. And then I'll tell them. But like at first, with my first one, I feel like he was kind of stingy, or he didn't want to get rid of any of his toys. Yeah, so I would tell him like, listen, there's kids in the world that don't have toys, and we're just gonna give them a toy. So we, so like So he knows that we're giving that, to make me, I would try, well, that was at different times, like if it wasn't before birthday or Christmas, it was like, okay, well, we got to get rid of this kind of stuff because you don't play with it so that it'll make another kid happy, you know? And I started doing that at the store. Like, I was taking my niece and my daughter, and they want to hold, they're little, and they want to hold toys at the store. So I'm like, you can hold it, but I'm not buying it for you, okay? So then at the end, to avoid a meltdown, I'm like, we have to put them back so another kid can hold them and it can make them happy during the store. And then they were like, okay. But I didn't do that with my boys, and they used to freak out if I would take a toy back, and they would be like, I want it, and they would panic, and I'm like, no. So I'm surprised it actually works with these ones. I don't know. It's interesting. So what do you do with your husband's stuff? Do you let your husband unclutter his stuff? Like, how do you get him on board? Because I know sometimes husbands are not on board with everything that you're on board with at that exact time. So do you pressure him to do it, or do you do it for him, or?
Nope, I literally go around his stuff. That's his clutter. I don't know what he wants to keep. If he likes to join in, he can. I know in beginning of quarantine, we did like a mild declutter of like our rooms. And he went through all his drawers. He went through his socks, his underwear, all on his own and organized. And plus, I feel like he doesn't accumulate a lot of things like I do. And if I have him help on the decluttering with like the kitchen and stuff, he'll throw everything away. He'll be like, you don't need this. We haven't used this. Oh yeah. So I kind of don't want him involved in the decluttering.
Yeah.
But he's welcome to it, but I like to do it. I get in my zone. I like to do it by myself, honestly.
It's kind of therapeutic.
It is.
Yeah. You know, especially like when you're in your zone and you have your music or something like.
That's why it's nice when you're pissed. Because
that's a good clean.
What do you guys do with your donations? Like, where do you donate? So you say you have something to give to family? Like, can you break it down to family member or what?
There's something in here too. I know, because I think that there's like a good declutter. Wait, and while I'm looking for this, Marianne, I want to know about Adam's.
What?
We didn't ask her, does Adam declutter?
Oh yeah, do you declutter Adam's stuff?
No. Well, it's
he
obvious when I'm cleaning, so if he wants to clean, he'll clean. And
is he a neat freak and a germaphobe? Or just
no, he's not a
okay, he's a germaphobe. Okay.
His stuff is piled in the corner of our room, multiple piles. So I'll just keep adding to his pile, and it's his choice if he wants to dig through his pile every day. But there will be times when it gets so bad, he'll end up cleaning it. So.
And that's good. I used to like put the shit in the drawers for my husband too, and I was like, you know what, this is his stuff. I don't need to do. I do this for my kids. I don't need to do this for my husband. So now I'll put it all in a pile, and if it timbers and falls over, like that's on him. And he he's gotten better at like just putting his own shit away, and he'll declutter sometimes. I feel like it's once every couple of years where he can't fit shit in his drawers, and the stuff that he gets rid of, I'm like, that was your nice clothes. Like, I know. But
and luckily he asks me, like, he's the type that will say, like, does this match? Does this look nice? Like, he always asks me for his outfits, and I'm like, you could change your pants or your shoes. Like, I'll tell him. I mean, I don't have the best sense of fashion, but he'll go out in a white shirt and jeans if he could.
Yeah. Now, do you ask him when you get dressed, or no? You're like, I don't need your approval.
I'm usually the cooler one in the family.
You're stupid. Okay, donations.
So for donations, so how I was doing, I would do a donation pile, friends and family pile, and then the trash pile. But in this book, they get a little more. They break it down a little more for like clothing. They do books, household good, toys, and toiletries. I didn't do mine like that. I kind of just was like, okay, this I don't want, this goes here. So they have, for clothing, you can do Women's Shelter, Goodwill, Salvation Army, Savers, Red Cross. They have churches you can do. They have something called Dress for Success. I need to look into that. They have books. You can donate them to Books for Soldiers, libraries.
That's a good idea.
Household goods, Craigslist, Habitat for Humanity, Salvation Army, and local shelters, toys, YMCA. That never crossed my mind.
Schools and stuff.
Preschools,
and local schools and churches too. Yeah. And then toiletries, homeless shelters, women's shelters, and refugee camps or centers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
a good
they break
idea.
it down. So
I think that at the end of the day, I have no energy anymore to separate my donations. That I just am like, okay, we're just gonna.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll even put it on the street, and then people will come and just pick it up. So I'm like, all right,
Somebody's gonna
somebody's
use it.
using it. Yeah, and then somebody just told me, because we have a couple people in the neighborhood selling flowers on the corner, and we have a lady with her daughter and her little baby and stuff. And so a neighbor recently said that they give her their like bags of clothes and stuff, and she's super grateful.
Nice.
So I'm like, oh, I never even thought about giving,
That's interesting, yeah.
So I just wouldn't want to offend anybody, because like they're out there working. I don't want to be like, here, you want my donations?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that without being like offending them?
You buy whatever they're selling and be like, hey, would you like this?
Well, there you go. I like that.
Buy her damn flowers or
has
her cup of fruit and
All
be like,
right.
would you like this?
So we are gonna make sure to link. Did you print this out, or did they?
I print
Look
it
at
out,
how
but
nice this
also
looks.
we'll
sorry.
do the link.
Yeah, we're gonna link.
We'll link it, and then
the company.
they'll go
That
through
is so
them.
fancy.
And I'll link the free one that I got. Is this free, or you have to pay for this?
It's not free, but the link, they have all these tips and stuff.
Free
but in
tips.
order,
Okay. So
but
we'll
it's not.
put
It's
it in
super.
the show notes.
It's super inexpensive. It was like $4.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and we hope that this helps you guys start fresh, a clean slate
2021.
2021.
Out with the old, in with the new.
You clean your clutter to add more stuff.
No.
Never mind.
Oh,
Not in with the peace.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to catch up on our previous episodes, visit mamasmimosas.com, where you'll get access to all of our podcast show notes, our YouTube videos, and our private Facebook group, where we chat with you about each episode topic and host live Q&As with our fave mom tribe. Can't wait to see you there.